You know, we had such a good time doing the best music and our favorite music from Final Fantasy that we thought, let's run it back with another series that is near and dear to our hearts. And because he's played more of the games, we could even bring on a sixth panelist. Now, this is about as many panelists as you can do. I think we're getting to the point now where any more is going to be too many. But I thought it'd be fun to have Dave on board. So, Dave, welcome. How are you doing?
We're getting close to NFL pregame show where they have 9 different analysts all talking to each other. So we're getting there.
We're about 4 past quality conversation and 1 past logistical setup. So this is about the max.
Where would you put a 7th is the real question. In the middle,
in the corner, a picture within picture.
Where Link is over there right now.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
So only 3 of us did our homework, though. I've noticed with the T-shirts.
I don't own a Zelda T-shirt.
My
I'm
shirt
sorry.
is Saria. It's hard to tell. I mean,
when I said homework, I think that's what I meant. Did you go
None
and get
of
a T-shirt? It's not like we
There
just
she
let you know today that you're doing this recording.
You never told me to do that.
Never once
Dave,
said
sometimes,
anything.
Maybe you could benefit from your career in this. Sometimes it's good to take initiative and just do something because it's the right thing to do.
Nope.
He's not a mind reader.
Doug is so happy because now all my...
Vitriol?
Oh, I don't want to say that because it's not angry.
Right?
Attention is going to Dave.
Attention.
Yeah.
Oh, you just wait.
I've heard of some relationships that went like this.
Yeah.
So we're going to be starting with our honorable mention. If you didn't happen to see the last list, first of all, go check it out. It has a playlist. It was a lot of fun to put together. Here, we're basically taking from all the Zelda games. We had a whole voting system. If you're new to the channel, it's a top-heavy voting system, so a lot of points available for the top 10, especially the top 3. Towards the bottom of the list, not worth a ton. Combine them all in a spreadsheet, add them all up, see where the group list went. Nobody besides me knows what the group list entails. I had to put all the slides together and everything, so it's going to be a surprise for them. You, of course, will see the video title, so you're not going to be like, oh, every time. But still, you can follow along. Every day we're going to be posting these on the weekdays, Monday through Friday, until we get through all top 25. Today we're going to talk about the ones that didn't make the cut, which means we're going to be breaking the hearts of the panelists because I'm going to read off songs that are not in our group top 25.
If the music from the trailer made it in the list, we're going to have some words with the panel. This was a discussion that took place, so some behind the scenes. Does trailer music count was a question. I was late to the conversation.
It's not in the game.
My answer was an emphatic no.
Orchestra
Well, we'll
piece
see.
1, orchestra piece 2.
This is a
Right.
democracy, so we'll see what happens.
mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to go over basically the ones that were notable. I mean, anybody's one vote, if it was high enough, could put them in range for something like this. For example, Dave had his 4th place game not make the list. We'll get to it. But it was close because it was a 4th place vote. So it was worth a lot, but in general, you needed multiple people to vote for it to make the top 25. There is an exception to that, and that exception's name is Nick Viola. So we'll get to him when we actually start the top 25 proper. I froze everybody in Discord. Hold on, I'll fix it. There we go. Fixed.
Sounds like Dave's song was a bad take.
I think it was an awesome take that you all missed.
Oh, you just wait.
That's fair.
Songs that got multiple votes and did not make the cut. In 58th place, we had the Lost Woods theme from Ocarina of Time, or Saria's song.
Well, I'm representing her with my shirt, so that's nice.
Wow, I thought that was going to get
In
much higher.
58th place?
58th place. It had a
Jesus.
21st place vote and a 24th place vote, so no one can be that upset. Nobody put it that high.
No.
I mean,
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
I figured it was good to hear once. It was good to hear 3 times. It was good to hear 5 times.
That was a Dave and Michaela alliance. They also aligned for our number 42, Stone Tower Temple from Majora's Mask.
That didn't make the
Ow.
list. Oh
I-
no, that does make me a little sad, actually.
I know, I like that one.
It is a good one.
Oh, it's such a good track.
It's an interesting dichotomy, though, of songs that are in game and songs that are in the game. You know what I mean? Like, there are songs canonically that take place in the game, and that's different than, like, the score of a Final Fantasy game. And I think that's, like, an interesting thing going on with Zelda games, because the music's such a part of the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I look at the songs of the gameplay, I think of what dungeon I'm in, what world I'm in, what area. Like, that connects me to it.
Sure. But, like, Zelda's Lullaby, right, is, like, a song that, like, Link knows.
Yeah.
Whereas Link doesn't know Hyrule Castle theme.
Yeah. I think it's is it diegetic music that's the term
There
for
must
that?
be a word for it,
There
right?
is a word for it. And
Or
I
am I
can't-
so brilliant? I just create. No, it sounds like you knew it already.
It's a word. There is a word for it, but it's cool, and that's why Zelda music is great.
Not
Yeah.
smart enough for this.
I was a little bit sad on this one. I mean, everybody's going to be sad that these didn't make the list, right? I had this one relatively high. In number 38 was Overworld Adventure. There's another name for that track. Full Speed Ahead, I think, from Spirit Tracks.
Is that the chicka chicka chicka
Oh,
chicka
yeah.
chicka?
Yeah.
Or is that a different
It's
song?
like the main theme.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did consider that. It didn't quite make the cut, but it was there at one point.
In fact,
Mhm.
I can go ahead and spoil this in general. We did not do a good enough job on the handheld games. And this, I think, is a glaring omission. I'm just going to put everybody else on blast. Although it did get a 24th place vote from Dave.
You all
Fair.
can be on blast. I voted a handheld game extremely high, so I am
technically,
absolved.
I have a few. I mean,
Well-
maybe not like Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Seasons, but I had some stuff.
I'm just saying, y'all had 25 picks, and you spent about 22 of them on non-handhelds. So
That's
if you're
true.
a fan of those
You-
games, you've come to the wrong place. I'm sorry.
You know what? Also, here's the problem though. 2 of the worst games in the series are on handheld.
That's
So
also
that's
true.
also
So that's
a
like a great
problem.
performance in a bad movie. You're like, I don't know. You maybe get a nomination, but your movie sucked.
What are your 2 worst? Because I hope it's not the 2 I'm thinking of.
Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, while still fun, not bad games because I don't know if there is a bad Zelda game. The
Outs-
worst
when
in
I-
the series.
Outside the joke ones, yeah.
Yeah.
When I said I hope it's not the 2 I'm thinking of, you just stabbed me in the heart with
Well-
that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Of.
Sorry.
Like
So we'll have to do a
Actually-
Zelda rankings, game
Alright.
rankings at some point, is what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yep.
Could be fun. Could be contentious.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right above that in 37th was Death Mountain from Link to the Past. That was a vote from me and a vote from Dave.
That was good, man.
Sorry, everybody. Link to the Past didn't make it there. 36 was Zelda's Lullaby. That had 2 votes.
I voted for
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
That was a
I
tough one.
did
That was a
too.
tough one to break, just because it's not a long song. You know, it's not, but it's important to the game. So
That's
Mhm.
that's the similar reason why I think a lot of the handheld game tracks suffered, is because a lot of them are really short.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
But there is a really short track that made our list. So it was still possible. Nobody voted for Item Get. I had it 25th on my list at one point. I thought about it.
I didn't even know if it really counted.
I didn't know
I was
either.
totally about
Yeah.
that too. Of like, it is a piece, but it's more like a jingle. It's not really like a piece
Yeah,
of
it's
music.
like a stab. It's not like
And in my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, we put it in the background while we're talking, and then I play them at the end of each video, and I'm like, it's just gonna be do 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 for like 4.5 minutes, and we won't like it by the end. That's for goddamn sure.
You know what would have been fun?
I feel
is
like
if
we
you
just did
do
a
a
speed
different one.
Like a medley. I thought about it.
Yeah.
Even then, it wouldn't make it. They're all 3 to 4 second tracks. That might get us 2 minutes.
the and the
That
amount
would've
of work
been really
you'd have to do on it, and not to
Yeah.
mention our watch time on that video would be like, it cut off at one point. This is weird. Everyone stop watching.
Yeah, the views plummet. Everyone abandoned ship. 34th was the Blight fights from Breath of the Wild. I combined this because one person had the different, like, 4 bosses, and one person had Ganondorf, but they're all sort of similar in composition. So I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. They still didn't make it, so I did the best I could.
Those are,
Understandable.
I
Sure.
like them. I mean, they're very similar, obviously, all of them. But I like them.
I mean,
Uh,
as far as Skyward, excuse me, not Skyward. Oh, goodness, Breath of
That's
the
a lot.
Wild. For a mostly quiet game, like any good track will stand out, and
Mhm.
it didn't take much, and it's a good solid song.
Breath of the Wild, when
More
it is
of-
playing
yeah.
music, has some really good stuff.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
3/4 of the soundtrack is ambient, which fits the game, but does not make for interesting listening outside of it. Fight me in the comments.
I think the Divine Beast music is actually way more interesting than the fights. So
Well, don't get into that. Maybe that's in the list.
maybe
You don't wanna-
know.
Who
Blow
could
your
say?
load too early, Doug.
33rd was Mulgera from Wind Waker.
That didn't make the
Oh.
list.
No, only you
What?
and I voted for it.
Really? What the
Oh,
hell, man?
yeah.
Honestly-
Mans?
Oh
All
yeah,
of you?
that's right.
So no
that
one's gonna be going.
was just
Oh, that's the chicka chicka chicka
Yeah.
song.
That is shameful, all of you.
So I was
That
a
one
little
just
disappointed about that, but it's
It
okay.
was just a narrow miss.
Yeah, it's
narrow
fine.
miss on my end.
Girahim's theme, because I lumped together Battle with Girahim, had
Mhm.
3 votes. Our first with that many in 31st. That was a me, a Dave, and a Nick.
It's so, man, that one is always so, it's just so, like, you feel the mischievousness of Girahim in that song. So
Mhm.
It's kind of like dissonant, right? Like
Yeah,
uh, It was
It makes
weird
you feel
timing.
uneasy almost.
And it has different forms, and each time you battle him, there's his own theme. There's a different battle theme 1, 2, and 3. I like second because it has the castanets. I think it's kind of funny, but I again put them together because there was no way I was going to make it anyways if I didn't. And there are a couple of cases in our top 25 where if it was a similar melody, the songs might have ended up together just to make sure the vote was represented. We'll get to those when they come up. This one did
Good,
not make the
good.
cut even then. It was my 23rd, so I can't really be too upset.
20 for me. So
Me and Nick, you're going to keep noticing that I keep holding L's on this, although Dave actually had the fewest of his songs make the list, but I was right behind him. Me and Nick tried to combine on Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. Was it because of the OC remix, Nick, in particular?
Oh my goodness, I'm actually really surprised about that. I mean, I certainly do like the OC remix, but I'm a fan of both. The OC remix is solid.
There's a vocal version they did on that site that might be worth checking out because it's a really pretty version of it. But even so, I put it in there on its own merits as well. Not high enough. We both put decent points into it, but nothing that we can be like too upset about.
Yeah.
The one I was
It was
maybe most surprised by was Outset Island from Wind Waker at 27. Because it had
Really?
with only 2 votes, but it got a pretty high one from Dave, and it still wasn't quite enough to make the cut.
it's just, man, that one had such a good feeling of like, all right, here's this happy little place. This, it's just like you're ready. You know that something bad is coming because this is so peaceful here, almost.
And that's Dave. So on the other recording, we established this a little bit. Like I tend, not always, but I tend to vote more for like if there's a song isolated from the game that I just enjoy listening to. Whereas like in that, it's a great song for the area, fits it perfectly, very iconic. But like, do I put it on in my car? Probably not. So
Yeah.
that tends to be where I draw the line. Others have different metrics, and that's kind of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And then we'll just say it, even though it didn't get multiple votes. 26 was Death Mountain from the original Legend of Zelda. It was Dave's 4th place, but unfortunately, because it got no other backing, it did not make the cut.
And I mean, Michaela, are you even old enough to have played that game? I mean, the Death Mountain music is so good for being 8-bit.
You had the dungeon theme pretty high up as well. It ended up 32nd because you were the only person who voted for it. It was one of my last cuts, if that makes you feel any better.
It's
Well, do you feel
I
better?
grew up a little. I mean, the fact is, I grew up. That first Zelda game I played once when I was like 5, and I was like, I don't get it. And I played it again when I was about 9. I was like, this is amazing. I played it all the time.
Yeah, it was
I
probably
can't-
probably a little bit advanced for you at that age, but then a couple years later,
I loved it. I mean, beat it so many times, listened to all the music, and then played the Master Quest afterward, the extra quest afterward in that original game. I can't believe a 1987 game had 2 versions of the game built into it. It's crazy.
Yeah. just everything from like the 85 to 95 range. There's so many like games that outpunched their weight,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and some of the 16-bit stuff. But even back on the 8, like even the original Metroid, you're like, it doesn't hold up great now, but there's a lot of shit in that game for when it came out.
Mhm.
Yep.
So those are all the honorable mentions. There were others that obviously didn't make the cut, but each of them only got 1 vote. When we have the next video come up, we'll be starting on our regular cycle, Monday through Friday, 5 each week. I won't be doing an intro like that every time. We'll just be jumping into each song, but we'll go over one by one. We'll play the songs afterwards, so you'll hear them in the background, but then if you want to listen to them, I'll put a couple versions of them if they have more than one version. And we're going to count our way down to the number 1 favorite Zelda song of all time. So I hope you'll join us.
Did you notch, Chris, which songs, which games appear the most times on the list?
I did, but I
Great.
can't tell you in advance because
Well,
it's a
right, of
spoiler.
course. Yeah.
But in the ending video, when we look back, I have which games were in, how many times, and whose votes made it in the most. I leaked a couple already. Like Michaela had the most that made it in. But
Okay. Well, stay tuned, everybody. Should be fun.